This is for the person who lives with an invisible standard, one that you can feel but no one else can see.
There's a certain kind of person who moves through life with this quiet ache. It's there no matter what you accomplish, no matter how much you do for others, no matter how hard you work.
It just never feels like enough.
Now, this feeling, it isn't a flaw in your character. It's not because you're lazy or untalented. You learned this feeling. It wasn't who you were born as, it's what you were taught to be. Because for people who never feel good enough, worth was never just a given. It was something that always had to be earned. And this lesson often starts early. Maybe you grew up in a home with unpredictable affection, or you never knew what to expect, or with caregivers who were emotionally distant. Maybe praise only came when you performed perfectly, and any criticism was just brushed off as motivation. You might have been constantly compared to your siblings or friends, learning very quickly that love felt conditional. An environment like that teaches a really deep core belief. We call it conditional worth. It's the idea that your value as a person isn't just there, isn't inherent. No, it depends entirely on what you do, what you achieve, and whether you meet everyone else's expectations. And so, what do? You learn how to survive. You adapt. You become the overachiever, the caretaker, the responsible one. Not necessarily because you wanted to be amazing, but because you were terrified of being a disappointment. And over time, that external standard, it moves inside. It becomes a constant voice in your head. But here's something that's so important to understand. That inner critic isn't part of your personality. It's an inherited voice. It's a voice that whispers, do more. Be better. Try harder. It sounds a lot like motivation, doesn't it? But it's not. It's a relentless demand. And that voice, it isn't really yours. It's the echo of whoever first made you feel like you weren't enough. This constant pressure, it runs deeper than just your thoughts. It literally reshapes your entire system. It isn't just emotional. It becomes physiological. Your nervous system gets rewired for constant vigilance. You're always self-monitoring, always anticipating disappointment. You're scanning for mistakes before they even happen and bracing yourself for rejection. So even when you succeed, you don't get to relax. You just get ready for the next test. And this internal wiring, it creates a really painful paradox in your life. On the outside, people see someone who's incredibly capable. You achieve more than most, but you feel less satisfaction. You give more of yourself, but you seem to receive less in return. You grow more, but you don't let yourself acknowledge any of it. And the reason why is because the goalpost is always moving. Every single accomplishment just becomes the new baseline, the new minimum standard. You don't feel pride, you just feel a brief moment of relief. And that relief might last for a few seconds before the pressure starts all over again. So if success barely even registers, what happens when you inevitably fall short? What happens when you actually make a mistake? Well, it feels like your entire identity is collapsing. The thought isn't, oh, I messed that up. The thought is, I am a mess. I am not enough. The hidden belief under all of it is, if I'm not impressive, then I'm nothing at all. And this is the core of it all. This is why you overwork and overgive and overperform. You're not actually trying to be the best. You're trying not to be abandoned. Healing from this doesn't come from finally achieving enough. It can't. It comes from a fundamental shift in how you see yourself. Moving from that old standard, I must earn my worth, to a completely new understanding. My worth is inherent. It's just there. It's the difference between the old pressure that says, I constantly need to prove myself, and a new kind of permission you give yourself. I am allowed to just exist without having to perform for it. And this isn't about just thinking differently. This is about your nervous system finally learning what it feels like to be safe. It's about you as an adult learning to trust yourself. The real truth is you aren't broken. You were never broken. You were always enough. You were just raised by people who couldn't see it.